English News Learning System, Level 5. Listen.
The number of Japanese citizens fell at the fastest clip last year since data collection began in the 1960s, adding pressure on the nation's social security system and shrinking labor market. The population of Japanese nationals dropped by more than 861,000 to 121.6 million over the year to January 1, extending a streak of decline to 15 years, according to the Ministry of Internal Affairs on Wednesday.
Read aloud. Listen.
U.S. President Joe Biden has told Americans in a televised address that it's time to pass the torch to a new generation, as he sought to explain the historic decision to end his faltering re-election campaign. Mr. Biden, 81, said he withdrew his candidacy and endorsed U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris to unite their fellow Democrats and the country. The White House speech marked his first public appearance since he exited the race on July 21.
Read aloud. Listen.
The 2024 Olympics started off with a bang on Friday, with an extravagant and memorable opening ceremony in Paris. The festivities, which honored the history of France in Paris, included some big names performing in the ceremony, which took place in and around the buildings along the Seine River. The ceremonies were headlined by Lady Gaga at the beginning of the Parade of Nations, and Celine Dion to close the ceremonies after the Olympic cauldron had been lit.
Read aloud. Listen.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has urged the international community to prevent escalation in the Middle East, following an Israeli strike on Lebanon's capital and the reported killing of a top Hamas leader in Iran. The Secretary-General believes that the attacks we have seen in South Beirut and Tehran represent a dangerous escalation at a moment in which all efforts should instead be leading to a ceasefire in Gaza, UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric said.
Read aloud. Listen.
The Iranian government is warning Hezbollah is hell-bent on revenge and will likely focus its retribution on civilian targets deeper into Israel, following Tuesday's assassination of Fuad Shukl, the Tehran-backed terror group's most senior military commander. Iran's Revolutionary Guards vowed that Israel would receive a severe punishment at the appropriate time, place, and manner for killing Shukal in Beirut. The IRG added in a statement issued Saturday, Hezbollah will no longer restrict its attacks to military locations.
Read aloud. Listen.
Japanese stocks suffered their biggest ever daily loss Monday, as fears about a U.S. economic slowdown sent shock waves through global markets. The Nikkei 225 index of leading stocks in Tokyo lost a staggering 4,451 points, its biggest drop in history. The index closed more than 12% down, taking its losses since early July to 25% and entering bear market territory.
Read aloud. Listen.
Ukraine's stunning incursion into Russia's Kursk border region was a bold gamble for the country's military commanders, who committed their limited resources to a risky assault on a nuclear-armed enemy with no assurance of success. After the first signs of progress, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky broke his silence and spelled out Kyiv's daily advances to his war-weary public. By Wednesday, Ukrainian officials said they controlled 1,000 square kilometers of enemy territory.
Read aloud. Listen.
Russia is scrambling to shore up its defenses more than a week into Ukraine's shock lightning attack across the border on the southern Kursk region. U.S. officials told CNN that Russia has diverted thousands of troops from occupied territory inside Ukraine to counter the threat. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has had to bring in conscripts, backpedaling on a promise he made not to use them on the front line.
Read aloud. Listen.
The fast food value meal wars are far from over. McDonald's $5 meal deal, Wendy's breakfast bundles and Taco Bell's Luxe Cravings box kicked off the cost-cutting competition about 2 months ago. As the cost of eating out continues to increase, rising 4.1% in July, compared to July 2023, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, more fast food chains have added value menus to woo customers leery of rising prices.
Read aloud. Listen.
America's top central banker has unambiguously signaled that lower interest rates are finally on the horizon, marking a crucial milestone for the Federal Reserve's historic and, so far successful inflation fight. The time has come for policy to adjust. We will do everything we can to support a strong labor market, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said in prepared remarks for his keynote speech at an annual gathering of central bankers and economists in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Read aloud. Listen.
Israel and Lebanon's Hezbollah on Sunday launched their heaviest exchange of fire after months of strikes and counter-strikes that have raised fears of an all-out war. By mid-morning, it appeared the exchange of fire had ended, with both sides saying they had only aimed at military targets. The Israeli strikes killed 3 militants in Lebanon, while there were no reports of casualties on the Israeli side. But the situation remained tense.
Read aloud. Listen.
A team of paleontologists found matching dinosaur footprints on what are now 2 different continents, separated by thousands of miles of ocean. The footprints, dating back to the early Cretaceous period, were found in Brazil and in Cameroon, researchers wrote in a study published Monday by the New Mexico Museum of Natural History and Science. The discovery shows where land-dwelling dinosaurs were able to cross freely between South America and Africa, before the 2 continents split apart millions of years ago.
Read aloud.